Hey everyone, it's Bill Sickert bringing to you another Team Quan Q Science update from the state of California. There is a regulation that exists only in this state that supplement manufacturers have been wrestling with, and I thought I would bring out some of the points regarding Prop 65 to better inform you as the consumer of any products that are out there as you consume these products in the state of California. And I do mention that no other state has this situation, but California has always been an interesting regulatory, legal, and the state's broke, so any way they can make money, they'll go at it. I can attest to that, living here for over 20 years. So Prop 65 is the question, the consumer question that exists out there, and what this was rooted in was a very good motive, as all laws sometimes have to begin with. And then they are often ruined by the way they are enforced or allowed to be reinforced in the legal arena. So Prop 65 was a Jerry Brown, the governor of California, originated program designed with very good motives to regulate the groundwater in the state of California such that if it had significant impurities from the provider of the water, so it comes out of our tap either pure or impure, then there would be some form of tooth to the law, so to speak, to regulate those groundwater providers and allow us to get good, clean drinking water. Well, that morphed into virtually everything else, including gas stations, coffee cups, supplements, foods, you name it, and now it's absolutely absurd. There's a reason for that. Most propositions and most state laws are regulated by state regulators, the Attorney General and its progeny. Unfortunately, in the state of California, because the overabundance of attorneys and the hunger and greed of the attorneys have been allowed to enforce this public law, and in essence, it's really just a proposition. It's not necessarily a law. So attorneys go after, kind of like ambulance chasing, they go after large corporations and threaten them with their violations or supposed violations of this proposition and hope for a settlement. And they've been doing okay. They pick on a big company and they average about $65,000 right now for those settlements, which is coming to a rapid end here as a result of a very good legal firm called Goodwin Procter, and I'll explain that in just a minute. So as some of you know from my videos and my background, I have a legal background and a nutrition background, as well as a business background. I'm just going to hit the legal side of this proposition and the nutritional just to go over some comfort levels with you, and you be your own judge, as I always empower the consumer with what they need to do to make the right choices. So with that said, what I would like to say is Prop 65 started out with good intentions. Unfortunately, it was taken by the greed in the legal system and made into really a system of threatening to get money. These legal situations never made it to court because the attorneys knew that there really isn't any proof of standard of the problems that some of these chemicals create. They really don't know how much lead creates cancer. They really don't know how much mercury creates cancer. There is no human standard there. And they know that some of these things can cause health issues, but when you go to court, you got to prove somebody did something wrong, and if there's no proof and no standard, you can't say they did it wrong. So that's the problem with this initially and why these never really went to court, except for one, and they brought that to a home run statement in the actual court settlement. Again, I'll give that to you to finish this whole thing. Let me just tell you that I picked one material, lead, in a product, and lead exists virtually everywhere. Why? Because for 50, 60, even 100 years we have used lead-based gas. It was used as a lubricant in the fuel and in micro doses, but it helped engines last longer. Now they have created unleaded gas, but I can assure you that all that lead, once it was in a material in an oxidized state, it's in the earth and all those organic farms. I guarantee if they test for lead in that beautiful highway up I-5 in California, there will be lead in that organic food. And you're thinking, you got to be kidding me, Bill. It's obvious, and for obvious reasons. These farms are all next to highways. And no matter how far away you get, that pollution is going to get there, I guarantee you. If it's not lead pipes for plumbing, it's disposable lead in the dumps. Again, I'm just picking one material, lead, not mercury, not arsenic, not all the other things that are out there, just to show one absurdity, and there are many in these environments. So they have stated in Prop 65 that the allowable amount of lead in a product is 0.5 micrograms. Now you can barely see 1 milligram of a material, and I can assure you a half of a microgram is very, very small amounts. Not enough to really matter in any level of human health. And the reason I say that is because the FDA, a group I'm very familiar with in all my years of working in nutritional supplements, has stated that actually 250 micrograms of lead is a tolerable amount without any human health issue. So here's our Food and Drug Administration, and then suddenly the state of California arbitrarily comes up with something that's about 1/500th of the amount, stating that this is somehow of danger to human health. So this is an absurd, ridiculous basis to start with. I give this to you because it only gets worse. Again, most of the time a proposition like 65 is enforced by the Attorney General in the state of California. It's a Wild West free-for-all. Companies can be approached by any law firm and attacked and threatened with their supposed violation, whether they went through a dumpster and found it or whatever it may be. Based in fact or not, most people just want to get rid of these guys, and if they can pay them off, that's what they'll do. The violation amounts are also absurd. Usually for most fines it can be $250, even $10. In this situation, they've upped the ante to $2,500 per incident. Technically, if a supplement manufacturer had a bottle of tainted product that they put out there, that could be the amount, which is how they got to the $65,000 average very quickly. Attorneys know that they've got to get money somehow. This is an easy play. Kind of like, as they say back where I grew up in Michigan, shooting fish in a barrel, and that's what this was. So I use this term extortion as a rather harsh term, but quite frankly, I can't see any other reason for it to be not that term. No standard of proof. Again, in court, they don't go there because there wasn't a standard of proof, and that was absurd. We do have the wonderful Goodwin Procter group that took them to court, and in this situation was a little teeny-weeny company that they were representing called Starkist Tuna. Yes, very large industry, and they promoted the absurdities of this law, and that came out just a month ago. And what they stated is, look guys, if you want to come up with a standard and take people's money, then show us what this health standard is, and if you're coming up with 1/500th of what the FDA has already established as a safe amount, that's ridiculous. And the judge agreed. He said, yeah, that's not okay. So on the nutritional side, folks, if you're worried about this over here, I would be more concerned with the fact that you've got 50 micrograms on average in a shrimp cocktail. Your organic carrots, as stated, have 12 to 20 micrograms of lead in them. And again, I'm just dealing with one metal here, not arsenic, not all these other things. I'm dealing with one item. Your groundwater probably has at least twice that amount in there, as much as 50 to 100 micrograms. And at the end of the day, who is Bill Sickert? I'm a consumer advocate and a health promoter. Here's the deal, folks. You're paying for all this. If I'm a manufacturer and I just wrote a check for $65,000 or $165,000, where do you think that money is coming from? The only place I can get it. Raising my prices for an absurd law that shouldn't exist in the supplement industry anyway. So I hope this is helpful as far as an explanation. I'm somewhat non-biased by the fact that I have been in this industry for so long and see this all the time. I'm very biased from the point of view that, hey, I live in this state. I've seen this kind of absurdity, and I've lived in this state as long as Prop 65 has been enacted. So I hope this is helpful, and it's been great to talk to you. And it's Bill Sickert from Team Quan bringing you the latest product update. Thanks.